Thank you, Danny.
Thanks, man.
So what's that track called?
It's called Type 4.
Type
And
Full.
yeah, you could say it's kind of the title track for the album. If you want me to go a little more in depth into that.
Okay, and so वैसे तो you play electronic music, but within your own tracks, do you differentiate between genres of your own tracks, or like do you ever think about the tracks in that way? Okay, this is more like this is more like this.
I suppose there's always an idea that I formulate in my head. I was like, okay, I want this track to sound a certain way. So it's always an idea in my head first before.
And do you always have a story behind it? Like
Not necessarily. Actually, the funny thing is my process is really weird. I usually make music before I write any lyrics. So I always make music according to how I'm feeling. It's just been my practice. And a few months down the road or something, then I formulate like a vocal melody and then write lyrics for it or something. But the music always comes first.
So the album is called Enneagram, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know what an Enneagram is before this. And when I Googled it, I found out that it's this personality kind of, it's like a model to predict the human psyche.
Yeah.
And you answer a bunch of questions. Anyway, long story short, my wife took the Enneagram test last night. And it was very interesting. I don't know what got you into the Enneagram, or whether you took the test, or is this whole human psyche thing part of the album?
So around the time that, okay, it'll require a little story. It's around the time that I finished my previous EP, Sound Science Love, which was in 2013, 6 years ago. I guess I was in a slightly weird place. So a friend of mine had suggested therapy. So I think it's really important to talk about mental health. So she suggested therapy and said, try these sessions out. Like we'll do a few Skype sessions and stuff like that and see how it goes. So what I basically was feeling is I was very emotionally blocked as a person. I didn't know, like I couldn't figure out my own identity, sort of like the kind of person I was or who I meant to be. You know, I was just like this craziness that was going on in my head. Fast forward about 4 sessions later, I'm talking to the therapist and she's like, "You're a type 4." And I was like, "What the hell do you mean I'm a type 4?" So she explained the whole Enneagram
I have
concept.
a hunch I'm also a type 4. But I haven't done the test. I just read the types after and just thought, okay, what would I fit in?
Yeah.
So maybe.
So like her basing it down to a science is something that I found really astonishing. I was like, okay, the human psyche can be broken down into a science and divided into 9 distinct personality types.
And the previous album was obviously also called Sound Science and
Sound Science Love.
Sound Science and Love.
Yeah, but I mean that had nothing to do with my state of mind at that point. But yeah, I mean that's when the Enneagram was explained to me, and I found it really interesting. And so Type 4 is basically about finding my calm in chaos and being okay with it. So that's basically me.
The album certainly finds a lot of calm and a lot of chaos at various points. I at least got that much from my pre-listening, which I was so thankful for. Janzeb and I heard it together in the acoustics of my bathroom, which are very good. So that atmospheric sound was really filling up the space. And so we'll go on to the next track. What is it called?
It's called Bamboosbeer, which is basically panda in German.
Okay, and bamboo is bamboo jo hamare yahan
like so it's like bamboo bear.
Jo shuru mein sound ke saath ho gaya tha.
All right, yeah. This is the second track.
That is gorgeous. So you were saying, and I also heard in the end that there's a lot of samples of kind of natural sounds and things like that.
Yeah.
So what kind of samples have you used?
So this is actually, oddly enough, it's a single sample.
Okay.
So a few years ago, this is when I was working at Coke Studio, I was sitting in my boss's balcony, and he had these amazing wind chimes. And it was a really nice time of the evening. Like safai bhi ho rahi thi and stuff like that. And like,
Are these bamboo wind chimes?
no, these are actually, I think these were made of some kind of alloy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they sounded like really nice, so I just started recording them with my phone. But like you can hear like there's birds in there, there's like a car horn in the back, and then there's like someone sweeping. You could hear like jharu and stuff.
So when you take these kind of samples and then you overlay electronic stuff on it, so do you try to do you at some level, do you at some level try to match the notes that you hear in the atmospheric samples?
So oddly enough, the way I came about this track was a few years ago at LMM. We were kind of like, Tala and myself were pushed into making this workshop really quickly overnight. So Tala kind of did his own thing about.
Tala's also here.
Yeah.
Wherever
Wherever
he's at.
So I did this thing about how to use like nature or like the things that surround you as a part of your creative practice. So I just pulled out that sample after years that night and just like made this like piano thing over it and like added this bass synth and a few beats, and then I kind of figured I have a track on my hands. So yeah, that's how the track kind of came about, and then so I used this as an example during my workshop, and then I was like, okay, now I have a track, so I'm going to make a track out of it.
And then you tried to paint an electronic soundscape on it.
Yeah,
essentially.
Absolutely.
And then do you try when you do that? So when we give input from electronics, it's always usually standard tuned or something like that. So you just found the kind of note that the soundscape was generally at, and then created an ambient.
I mean, the one thing that helped that like the wind chimes were in a particular scale, so they were tuned really nicely.
They sound like great wind chimes.
They do sound really nice. So they are really good chimes as well.
And was the wind artificial or the wind was also just there?
The wind was also just there.
Okay,
everything that's there. It was one single sample.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we should both speak into the mic.
Okay. Sorry. Huh?
Can we turn up the mic?
Sure. I just don't want it to feedback because it was doing that earlier. Is it better?
And that track was called?
That track was called Bamboos Bear.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we go to the next one?
The third one? Next one?
So that track was called Hello Cookido, and it's clear that Cookido had severe anxiety issues. But it sounded like he's trying to work them out.
Yeah. Okay. Is the mic volume okay now? Yeah. Okay. So basically, I had come back after my residency in Berlin, and the one thing Berlin taught me was don't give a shit. So I don't know. I ended up making a lot of music, and I plan to make a lot of music under another name, which will be Cookido. So this is like a sort of salute to that, because I'm going to be making some music under that name, which will be much more different than my regular APJ stuff. So this is just a small preview in between.
And this is the fourth track in the album.
This is the third track in the album.
Third track in the album. And this is an EP.
This is an EP. It's 5 tracks.
Do you always go with the EP format? Always doing like 5 tracks?
That's basically what I've done so far. But I mean, like I think Sound Science Love was about 7 tracks, so it was slightly longer. But I've always just essentially done EPs.
Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next track. You want to introduce the track?
Oh yeah, it's called Fear Nothing. तेल थोड़ा सा लंबा है.
इसका टेल थोड़ा सा लंबा है. पैंडा की बाजू पैंडा की टेल होती है
हाँ
लेकिन छोटी होती है, right?
हाँ छोटी सी.
वैसे ये एलियन पैंडा जूही के बारे में तो हमने बात ही नहीं की. Yeah, what's with
Where does it come from? Okay, weird story. My first EP is called New Earth.
Mhm.
If you put Alien, Panda, Jury, New Earth together, it's an exact anagram of my name.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
This is very well thought out.
so
Even
so I stuck with the first.
Janzib, did you get a picture of the Enneagram to show? Okay. Well, I guess everybody can Google it. Since you're going to be Googling the Enneagram, you can probably Google Karachi Community Radio on the Facebook. And if you haven't liked us or shared us, you should do that because likes and shares, as we've said before, are a strange but desirable commodity at this point for us. So if you share the live stream right now, we'll be very grateful. That's about it. We can move on to the next track.
Sure.
What's it called?
The next track is called 1111.
Okay. Oh yeah, if
Okay,
anybody's
if anyone's
connected to the
connected to the
Wi-Fi, then
Wi-Fi,
please disconnect from the Wi-Fi. That we would really appreciate. Thank you.
Cool.
that was magical.
Thank you.
So this, I think ये वाला track KCR पे पहले perform किया है.
Yeah, I've played it live.
पहले show.
I've played all of these tracks live a
Okay.
lot. Like
But also on
before-
KCR you played 11-11,
Yeah, I
right?
did,
That
yeah.
track was called
Yeah.
11-11.
Yeah.
ये 11 cycle में तो नहीं है ना time पे?
No. No. Nothing
अच्छा,
like that. No.
सही है. तो 11-11.
Yeah.
And what's the significance of that?
It's straight and simple answer is it's a love song.
Okay.
So, so
Okay.
yeah.
Definitely sounds like one. I also love the vocals in it.
Thanks.
I didn't know this voice exists before I heard this track. I think this is the first track you did vocals on that I heard at least.
Probably. I don't know.
So Danny's been on KCR before, and at that time, KCR used to be streamed out of a small store, जिसकी एक दीवार green होती थी, और वो green दीवार को हम green screen बना के, we used to. I wasn't even there at that point. It was only Janzeb who was, and that storeroom was at the Google Nest. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this place. It's like this incubator for startups, and Janzeb, when he was developing the technology we've been trying to use for live streaming, he was incubated there, and उनका store room था green wall के साथ. तो हम बस DJs को बुला के उधर we used to make streams and do visuals from the green screen, and then Danny came and played there, and it was lovely. I loved that performance. So that's the end of the listening.
Yeah, that's
listening part
the
of the
EP.
show.
Yeah, that's
Um,
5 tracks.
I don't know if you guys are very bored of so much talking already. This is the most talking that's ever happened on a KCR show. So it's also a bit new for us. But because Danny's been a musician for so long, I thought अच्छा है कि Danny से थोड़ी बहुत बातें पूछी जाएं, थोड़ी कराची के म्यूज़िक कल्चर की एक हिस्टोरिकल एक ओवरव्यू किया जाए थोड़ा बहुत. अगर बहुत बोरिंग हो गया तो फिर हम ख़त्म कर देंगे उसको. लेकिन I don't think boring होगा क्योंकि बातें हैं ऐसी करने वाली. And because we're doing community radio, तो community radio का जो थोड़ा बहुत concept है, in very simple terms, it's about kind of creating publics, right? And bringing artistic communities together. And इतना होता है कि काफ़ी अच्छी discussions होती हैं musicians, producers और बहुत सारे artists के बीच में. आज भी इतने ज़्यादा artists आज बैठे हुए हैं कि discussion ज़ाहिर सी बात है अच्छी होगी. मैं वैसे teacher भी हूँ और अगर मेरे बच्चे reading करके नहीं आते तो बहुत बुरी होती है discussion हमेशा क्लास में. और आज भी कुछ रीडिंग करके नहीं आए थे तो मैंने उनको बाहर निकाल दिया था क्योंकि वो इतनी छोटी सी रीडिंग थी. तो लेकिन क्योंकि आर्टिस्ट को तो सब पता ही होता है कि क्या हो रहा है, तो इसलिए जब आर्टिस्ट बैठे हों तो डिस्कशन तो हमेशा अच्छी होती है. तो जो पब्लिक्स की मैं बात कर रहा था, रिसेंटली कराची लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल हुआ और कराची लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल पे एक टॉक थी अबाउट द स्टेट एंड कॉर्पोरेट role in music, right? And us talk pe there was Sharif Awan from the Tehzeeb Foundation. The moderator was also from the Tehzeeb Foundation. Then there was Vakar Ali. Is he Sajjad Ali's brother?
Might be.
He's the
I'm not
composer.
sure. Yeah, I guess.
I'm not sure.
Could be.
I think he is. Vakar Ali is Sajjad Ali's brother. Anyway, so he was there and a lot of senior musicians were there. And somehow this thing came up and Vakar Saab was saying that आजकल जो आर्टिस्ट हैं because they have this technology to very quickly produce music, तो वो बहुत जल्दी चीज़ें बना के उनको आउट करके बाहर डाल देते हैं और उन पे इतना काम नहीं करते और वो चीज़ें होती हैं जो उनको अभी अपने पास रखनी चाहिए. और तो बेसिकली एक क्रिटिक था कि म्यूज़िक टेक्नोलॉजीज़ जो चेंज हुई हैं उनका प्रोडक्शन और आर्टिस्टिक प्रैक्टिसेस पे क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है. तो एनीवेज उन्होंने ये बात कही और फिर शो के एंड पे देयर वाज अ वेरी यंग गाय, musician producer. I think he's in some band जो उस KLF पे Pepsi Battle of the Bands पे भी बजा रहे थे. So he introduced himself very nicely, very respectfully के Vakar bhai, I'm a big fan. And because if you don't know, Vakar Ali is the person who brought the concept of OST or made it very popular. This whole concept of every drama having an OST and this concept of having soundtracks for TV production. So he made this very popular and he's worked with Tina Sani, I think also, and a lot of great people in the Pakistani music scene. So he was saying this, and so there was this kind of moment ke ek thoda sa, the young person was arguing कि नहीं ये technologies they're good and इससे इसना नहीं होता, but there was kind of like a back and forth. So much talking that I need to drink water. So there was a little back and forth there, and so I was thinking about it. Okay, जो जिस तरह SoundCloud है, I think a lot of the musicians sitting in this room, they have produced stuff on SoundCloud and have used that as a major platform. So SoundCloud में, I mean, the way at least I think of SoundCloud, or at least other people that I know, I don't know what the other musicians think here. कोई मसला हो रहा है क्या stream में? अच्छा, सही है. तो SoundCloud, the way I perceive it, is like more a sonic sketchbook. It's not, you're not always trying to produce something very final, finished on SoundCloud. You're just trying to document a certain process of music making, right? And you share it with your friends in various forms. So I don't know if you're the person to answer this question. I'm just the one to
Probably
pose
not.
it.
I mean, everyone,
You don't think like
everyone
that?
uses it in a different way. There's no like fixed way to go about it. Like I put up sketches of these tracks way back, maybe about 4 years ago, on my SoundCloud, and then I removed them. So I mean, like you use it as like a place to put out like ideas and stuff, but like
Yeah, but so
But
that's
everyone's got their
interesting,
way of
right? That
using
you
it.
would put something on SoundCloud and then remove it. But whereas when you release something in a more formal kind of a way, you can't really take it back, you know? I recently did a small flute video in which my flute sounds horrible, and I can't take it back because it's already released, you know? And I didn't really listen to it that properly before it all happened. The video was great, but it sounded horrible. When SoundCloud, you can kind of just do
I mean,
that.
you can
right?
delete a video too if you're really like, what do you
Yeah,
mean?
that's true. But if you've collaborated with other people on
Yeah,
it,
then I guess, yeah.
then they don't want to delete it because they've done brilliant work. You're the one who screwed up, right?
Anyway, what's the point? Daniel, get to the point.
No, the point is just I'm just trying to think about I'm just trying to think about SoundCloud as a medium of getting out music
Yeah.
and how things like SoundCloud change the way we listen to music and the way we produce music for audiences.
I mean, like I said, everyone uses it in a different way,
Okay.
but like I mean, like I use it as a place to discover music as well. So
Okay.
you know, it's a pretty open
Okay,
question.
so it's obvious that the audience is very bored by this discussion. So let's just take it. What's the plan? Huh? Kya cheez? Oh yeah. So the album has been released on Noland,
Yeah.
which is a German label.
Yes.
So how did you get in touch working with them?
So I met these guys in 2015 during the Karachi Files sound camp, and obviously we got to know each other and everything, and then became good friends. And then in 2017, when I went for my Berlin residency, I actually stayed for half of my residency with Andy, who's one of the co-owners of the label. Just so happened that I asked him, I was like, hey, would you be interested in an EP if I were to give you guys some demos? And he said, yeah, once you're done with it, send it over. Once I was done with it, I sent it over, and now we have a release.
Okay, so the album is released on Noland,
Yeah.
but not on Patari.
Yeah, I've taken all my music off Patari.
Okay, and we have so many musicians in the house. How many of you are on Patari? Just a general show of hands.
Like
Very few.
Have had your music
had-
on. but
okay.
Yeah.
Have you had your
Okay.
music ever on Patari?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever get paid? No.
Okay.
Okay. So so yeah.
So that's
So musicians should get paid for their music. Yeah, that's I guess quite simple. What's the next part? We're talking to Sana.
of course.
We're talking to Sana, and thank you, Sana. And is Humayun also there? Okay, so Sana and Humayun, who've done the album artwork that you saw on the stream, some of the album artwork is even available for you to purchase right here. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the artwork and then okay. अब मेरा भी दिल चाह रहा है कि मैं भी नीचे बैठ जाऊं. Okay. So thank you very much Sana और हुमायूं आने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Also thank you for the wonderful artwork. किस तरह बना ये सारा?
It took a long time. It took about almost a year. I saw the artwork in a dream. I had a dream. I saw the artwork and I was like, I want to make this somehow. And Danny then approached me and he said, I'm having these thoughts about this album, and I asked him if I could make that artwork for his album, and he said yes. I don't think he would have said no, but he but yeah, so this was something that I did in between my freelance projects. So every time I would get bored, I'd go back to it and do it a bit at a time. There were lots of prototypes. The first two failed. They looked too human, and then I started making like this alien-like figure. And the idea was to create something that that is being reborn or just becoming a part of the universe. So I don't know if you guys have seen the artwork. Is there anyone who hasn't seen it?
We should definitely show it.
We have prints with us for sale today. Maya, can you show that to us? What's yeah. So this took a few months to do. The background was painted separately, and this guy, Maya, can you take him out of the box? Is also here. I don't know if it's a dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all
I
of
didn't know
these,
he was here the whole time.
yeah.
I would have behaved differently.
So yeah, it's made out of styrofoam and paper mache, wires, tweezers.
So this is the only physical object that you made for it, and the rest is
There was a painting which was used as a backdrop, which is upstairs in the same
Okay.
building.
okay.
Yeah. That was
Also,
that
thank
was
you,
finger painting.
thank you A for Aleph for hosting us. Thank you very very much.
Thanks.
So so you made this, and then
And
Humayun
then
photographed it.
photographed it.
So Danny got in touch with me like I think 4-5 months before like we actually shot it, and I was like, Danny, when's it happening? He was like, "Acha, ho raha hai, ho raha hai." Then all of a sudden, Sana brings this like creature to me. I was like, oh wow, okay. And then like so Sana obviously did all of the work, and it was just my like thing to light it and photograph it, and it was just always great collaborating with Sana.
Lighting was really difficult.
Well-
Mine was a genius.
Well, I try. You know. It was, and thank you, Mayor, for letting us like take over your space for like that day. It was just going crazy. Let's do this. And then like I just went crazy clicking, and Omar and Amar, they helped us out like with just extra hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and the final image, we're like, okay, I think we got it.
Yeah.
And it was
I think we used like 4 cell phones to light it.
yeah, so it's just all cell phone
Very
light. Anyone who's
DIY.
like, yeah, it's super DIY. There's no like, yeah. So if anyone's who's like geeky about lighting, it's cell phone lights. Yeah. Anyways.
Super DIY. I think that can also be said about KCR to a large extent. But so thank you so much for that. Is there anything else you really want to talk about the artwork itself? You've talked about the process already and the story. Oh yeah, Rahima, how did that connection happen?
So I met Rahima a little while ago. We were following each other's work online. We're fans of each other's work, and just like a few days ago, she told me that she's going to be doing the visuals for Alien Panda Jury's launch, and I was shocked. I was like, okay, I sent her everything. I sent her the final artwork. I sent her little video clips of me making stuff, things that I would put on my Instagram stories, and they've all been incorporated, and I'm just shocked to see what they look like right now.
Exactly. I haven't seen that stuff that you guys have been watching. Like, so she's used all of the images that like I took and you took, and I was like, wow, So thank you, Raima. Shout out to her.
Thank you, Raima. Raima's moniker is 15-second MP4. You can find her on Instagram. You can find her visual art in a lot of places as butterflies are cockroaches with wings. Without wings? Without wings. Okay, I've always read it with wings. I've always read it like that. So now everybody's confused. Is it with or without? Ali Sohail is confused. It's with. So you can tell. I think Rahima's. I think we can easily discern the power of Rahima's art. That everybody is confused at this point. Ke wings hai ya nahi hai. So yeah, thank you Rahima for collaborating with us. Actually, I'm very happy because today is also International Women's Day, and we are so lucky that this is for KCR. I think the highest number of visual artists and artists that have collaborated together on a stream, at least in terms of the visuals. So we usually have one visual artist and one music artist pairing up. But this time we had you two, because you also did the photography, and then Rahima, and then you also said there was another person involved in the lighting. Who was that?
There were a couple of them. Yeah.
Okay, the paparazzi.
Paparazzi boys.
Okay, so
So
paparazzi
they were
also.
documenting it, and
Okay.
yeah.
So shout out to paparazzi for being here. But yeah, about the Earth March. So we're so happy that around so 3 girls in total with the lighting, right, have collaborated. 3 women. The lighting, Mariam, you said?
No, not who's Mariam?
Okay, I thought you said that someone did the lighting for the shoot. Oh, Humayun, you said.
did the
Humayun did the
yes.
lighting and the photography both. Okay. So yeah, that, and also just before we end the stream, just some shout outs to all the musicians who are here today. Thank you so much for coming. Tala is here, Tala Asim Vine, Toll Crane, Mudassir Sheikh, Moody, MU is also here. He's also going to be releasing an album soon, and he will have another listening of his album and try to convince Mudassir to do something live as well, because we've been trying to push for that. So that's going to happen in upcoming shows. Hashim Chima has also just walked in. Rudo Bilal is here. Asfandiar is here. Ali Suhail has been here the longest. Ali Suhail is here since 5 p.m. morally supporting everyone at KCR today, and okay, and of course Umair Dar from DA Method. Who am I missing? Danny. So all of Danny's friends are obviously artists. Am I missing someone? Rachel Vikaji is here. Yes. And Shahzad Ghiaz is here. Salik Abbasi is here. Hadi is here. So a lot of our friends, a lot of our artist friends are here. Thank you very much for coming. We're gonna end the show here. Did we miss someone? Adil Tahir is here. Thank you so much. Sana Ahmed. So the place where I work, I just want to say something. So the place where I work, they've recently started doing fingerprinting attendance, right? And this way is so much better. थैंक यू वेरी मच, बहुत शुक्रिया. ये आपका ख़ानदानी रेडियो है, इसको देखते रहें, इसको सपोर्ट करते रहें. ये डब्बा है, जब ये हजूर हट जाएंगे यहाँ से तो ये डब्बा खुला होगा आपकी डोनेशंस के लिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच.